So being really stubborn obviously helps for all of you, but there are some other kind of points that seem to be really helpful. One of which seems to be this idea of creating your own structure. I know for you guys it's working every Monday night. You kind of like bunker down. Because, I mean, that's another really important point to note is that most of you guys have day jobs as well. You all have day jobs. You know, you're photographers, but you're out shooting for other people. You guys, you know, are all working during the day. And so all of these huge projects that you undertake are things that you do for love on the side. So you create the structure of working on my day nights. You guys have some really interesting systems as well. Could you tell us a bit about... I've been trying to follow your email system since you told me about it. Can you tell us about that?
I think something that we learnt was how to control our inbox. I mean, we both have other jobs and other things that we're doing, and we have about 6 emails set up for Finders Keepers. So if we stopped every time and tried to answer an email, we would get nothing done. So we found like it was a really good process for us to actually designate time and flag emails for later and put them in folders so we're not getting overwhelmed by a million questions, and also setting up like the frequently asked questions and guides already there so we don't have to continuously answer the same question about how big a table is for the markets.
Yeah. The other thing that seems really important as well is for the event to be bigger than you, or the project to be bigger than you, to be bigger than one person. So it's not personal, whether you let someone skate or whether you let someone come into to set up at the market. There's got to be a process that you abide by, otherwise it all becomes too difficult. So that's something else that you guys have developed. You've written the Bible of Finders Keepers.
Well, yeah, so to speak. I mean, it's been a work in progress. Having an application, because we get so many people wanting to be involved with what we do, so we really do have to sit down and set the guidelines and the criteria for that, which is hard sometimes when you're creative and you just get excited about anything that comes along. So yeah, like setting those systems up and having the boundaries put in place was really important and hard at the same time.
The other thing that seems kind of common is the idea of scale. So you guys had a really good point of, you know, we could actually see how the event grew over time, but it really kind of has to be, and you guys as well, you had the idea that you always wanted to be in Carriage Works and have 5,000 people come through there in a day, but it probably would have killed you if you did that from the first run. Yeah,
we definitely wouldn't have been able to handle the scale we're at now, so we've kind of gradually just grown and built the business, I guess, just as it comes.
So the idea of creating structure and of scale, it seems to be really important, and slowly scaling up. Something that came up in both with Oculi and with Bowl-A-Rama is this idea of, I don't know if it's a cultural cringe or the idea of international accreditation or international acknowledgement. In a lot of cases, unfortunately, is what people need sometimes to take you seriously or to... Have you guys encountered that at Oculi?
Cultural cringe?
Yes.
Certainly, yeah. Oh, certainly. I mean, from our experience, I guess tall poppy syndrome is very alive. I mean, we've had problems our 10 years of existence getting any funding for anything. Like, virtually, we self-fund probably 100% of what we do. Everything is self-funded. We just can't seem to pull a trick with the arts funding bodies. They tend to just pretend we don't exist.
Some of the that kind of led me on to this idea of the education process, which you were talking about in relation to observational work and different kinds of work.
Definitely, initially it was hard. People were walking in and going, "Why is this $100? You know, it should be $2." But we definitely built that reputation up, and people would, start saving their pennies because they knew that they were going to get something quality that wasn't disposable. They were investing in something that was a bit more of a lifetime product, so to speak. Yeah.
The other note that I took was use your friends, and all of you guys seem to have done that at some point in the best possible way. But the idea of not being afraid to actually ask people for help and to ask to share skill sets, or in your case to find someone who's good at writing grants and just getting them to write grants.
I think that's very Australian. Use your mates wherever possible, and I think everyone's kind of that's probably the good side of Australia. The knocking and the tall poppy thing isn't great, but like God, there's always someone to lend a hand, or someone's got a ute you can borrow or whatever. It's great.
Great. Okay, now we might take some of those questions. Have we got one over here? Can we get the light down? Can you stand up, please? Thank you.
Hi. You all sound like you've had to deal with some really consistent and personal rejection throughout your various career trajectories. Could you tell us a bit about, like, personally, how you deal with that and how you keep your morale up?
Sheer bloody mindedness.
Look, you've got to have a thick skin, definitely, and it comes back to, because it's not only like the council, like as we've talked about that tall poppy thing, but you're going to anything you do probably was going to polarise, and that's not a bad thing. Like, some people are going to hate it, and some people are going to love it. And, you just got to, you can't appeal to everyone, and you just got to have a thick skin, and you just got to keep on going. Like, if you believe in your product and you believe in yourself, then keep on going. Like, don't listen to everyone.
Yeah, I think it's, don't be afraid to fall, but try your damnedest not to.
That's good.
Dean, how do you deal with rejection?
Well, I think you just become, you take the line that you expect nothing from anybody, and do it yourself. Because if you sat around waiting for money to rain from the skies, then you end up going mad. Like, it's not, nothing's ever come our way yet. So we might as well just assume that nothing is going to come.
How about you guys?
I think it's important to try and separate yourself completely from, like, the business personally. So just not take it to heart. Just, take it with a grain of salt and move on.
Which is really hard to do when you really care about something.
Yeah, very, very hard.
We were talking about the fact that I once tried to sell some scarves at the market, and it's selling stuff at the market could be one of the most demoralising things you ever do. So because people come by and they look at it and then put it back, they think they wipe their hands but what you guys do with Finders Keepers is you actually help all of those designers not experience that rejection, the ones you don't reject, that is. Next question.